Hello kitty queens and kitty bits of teas. I'm back at y'all with another client tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get this look, so sit back and watch, and we're about to get started. As you can see, I'm just cleaning off my model's face using some micellar water on a cotton pad, and then once her face is clean, I'm going to get started on her eyebrows. And to fill in / outline her eyebrows, I'm using my Nicka K eyebrow pencil, and this one is in the shade black. Since I'm using the shade black, y'all should already know I like to have a very light hand when filling them in, just because I don't want them to look like too dark, too thick, and too harsh. So if you're using black like me, make sure you use a light hand, but if you have a lighter or fairer skin client, I recommend that you use dark brown. So as you can see, I'm just outlining her brows, and I like to make sure they're as even as possible before I move on to filling them in. So that's what I'm currently doing, making sure her arches are as even as possible, and then once I have it to my desired shape, I'm just gonna fill them in, starting at the tail and working my way to the front. And for her brows, I only like to fill them in about halfway, and then I just end up blending everything else out using the spoolie end of the pencil, just because, like I said, I don't want her brows to look too thick or too harsh. I like them to have that very, gradient effect to them. Once I'm finished filling in the back of her eyebrows, I'm going to take my dark brown eyebrow pencil from Nicka K, and I'm using it to fill in the front. To clean up her brows, I'm going to be using my LA Girl Pro Concealer along with my Nicka K Concealer. And I already cleaned one brow off camera, so now I'm just starting on this one. And I'm taking the darker concealer and I'm using it to clean up the top of her brows first. And then once that's finished, I'm going to take that lighter concealer and I'm using it to clean up the bottom of her brows. Once the brow is nice and clean, I'm just going to buff out all the excess concealer. For an eyeshadow base, I'm going to be using my Bperfect eyeshadow primer, and as you can see, I'm just taking this and applying it all over her lids. And once I have them fully covered with this product, I'm going to take that same buffing brush that I used to buff out her eyebrows, and I'm going to use it to buff out the eyeshadow base. Moving on to the eyeshadow, the first shade that I'm taking is from my Juvias Zulu palette, and it's that brown shade that's at the top. I would have showed it on camera, but unfortunately I cracked my palette, so I can't pick it up without making a mess. But as you can see, I'm just applying this shade right underneath her eyebrow, and I'm going to continue to build the color up until I get it to my liking. To deepen up this look, I'm going to be taking a darker brown shade, and first I'm going to pack it on the outer edge of her eye, then I'm going to bring it in toward her eyebrows. And once I have this color packed on, I'm going to be going back over the edges of it using that first shade that we used. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut her crease, and to cut her crease, I'm using my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and this one is in the shade Tan Latte. I like to use the matte concealer because it dries really quick, and I don't know, that's just something I like to have whenever I'm cutting the crease. I recommend everybody go get it. But as you can see, I'm just sketching out the shape that I would like my cut crease to have first, and then once I feel like I have it where I want to be, I'm just going to fill it in using that concealer. Once I have the concealer all buffed out, I'm gonna go back in and perfect my shape a little bit more, because y'all already know it has to be even before I move on. Like, it just has to be. So make sure you take your time on this step, because this is a very, very tedious process. You do not want to have two uneven cut creases. That's just not what you want. Now I'm going to take some of my Fit Me pressed powder, and it's in the shade Mocha, and I'm using this to blend out the edge of my cut crease. On her lids, I'm going to be taking a matte white eyeshadow. You can use any white eyeshadow that you prefer. And as you can see, I'm just packing it on the cut crease. And I'm only going to be taking this like 3/4 of the way maybe. I'm going to fill up most of her cut crease with this shade, but I'm going to try not to get it in the inner corners of her eye. So now I'm taking this pigment from P. Louise, and I'm going to be applying this to the inner corner of her eye. And I'm also going to drag a little bit on that white eyeshadow. For her accent line, I'm going to be taking this glitter liner from the beauty supply store and this ultra fine glitter from TheMakeupPharmacy on Instagram, and I'm just going to be using them. As you can see, first I'm going in with the glitter liner and I'm just drawing my line in place. Then I'm dipping the brush in a little bit of that glitter and I'm just tapping it onto the line. I learned this method from Kiki Adams and I've been using it ever since. Like, this is the easiest way to do any type of glitter accent line on a client. So as you can see, that's what I'm doing. And y'all, I have to be in my client's face whenever I'm doing any type of precision work. I feel like I just have to be right up on them. So excuse me, but I just got to get it perfect. So as you can see, I'm just taking my time and drawing my line on. Now I'm just going to show y'all a little tip. So if ever you feel like you're doing an accent line and you think you did it too thick, all you have to do is let it dry and then take a spoolie and scrape off whatever part you don't want to be there. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just cleaning up my line, and as you can see, now it's perfect. Okay, now it's in place. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of that Fit Me pressed powder and use it to further blend out the edges of my cut crease. Once that's finished, I'm gonna take my Wet n Wild black liquid liner and I'm gonna use it to line her eyes. I decided to do a wing for this look just because, I don't know, I just wanted to give, and it was giving. As you can see, that wing is winging, and that's just that on it. Now that my wings are drawn on, I'm going to go back in with my micellar water and use it to clean up any fallen eyeshadow or any fallen glitter off her face before we get into the foundation routine. Now I'm going to go ahead and moisturize her skin, and to moisturize her face I'm using my Pond's moisturizer. Last but not least, I'm going to prime her face using my calamine lotion, and I'm basically applying this to all of the areas of her face that would typically get oily. For foundation, I'm just going in with my Fit Me foundation, and these are the two shades that I will be using. First, I'm taking the darker one and I'm just applying it around the perimeter of her face. Now I'm taking that lighter foundation and I'm just applying it to all of the remaining areas of her face. To blend everything out, I'm going to be using my Real Techniques foundation brush. To further blend out her foundation, I'm going to be using my Real Techniques sponge, and it is damp. To highlight her face, I'm using my Nicka K concealer, and it's in the shade number 8. To contour her face, I'm going to be using my Juvias Face foundation stick, and this one is in the shade Cat Cena. As you can see, I'm just dotting this around the edge of her forehead and on her cheekbones. Then I'm just blending it out using my Real Techniques sponge, and I like to use the same side of the sponge that I use to blend out the foundation, just so it can have a natural effect. Now that the concealer has set, I'm just going to go ahead and blend it out using that same Real Technique sponge. And to blend out the concealer, I like to flip my sponge to a clean side. To set the highlighted areas of her face, I'm going to be using my Fenty loose powder, and it's in the shade Honey. I like to go in with a thin amount at first just to mattify all the areas that we highlighted. Then once I have them fully set, I go back in with a little bit more just so it can bake a little bit. To set the contoured areas of her face, I'm going in with my Black Radiance Press Powder, and it's in the shade Rich Mahogany. Now to set the perimeter of her face, I'm going in with my Fit Me Press Powder, and it's in the shade Mocha. I'm going back in with that Black Radiance Press Powder, and I'm using it to sculpt out her nose. Now I'm taking some blush from my Juvias Saharan blush palette. This is volume 1. I like to mix the burgundy and the orange shade together and just apply a small amount to the apples of her cheeks. I'm highlighting her face using an eyeshadow just because I like to use eyeshadows to highlight now. I feel like they're way more pigmented and easier to blend out. So I like to have my clients smile so I can find the apples of their cheeks and I just apply it there. I'm gonna spray her face with my setting spray. And before it's all the way dry, I'm going to go over it again with my Real Technique sponge just to make sure everything is properly blended. So as y'all can see, I did her lashes and under eyes off camera just to save a little bit of time. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do her lips. So y'all already know I'm doing a new ombre lip, so I'm gonna outline her lips using my LA Colors dark brown eyebrow pencil. And since we're doing an ombre lip, I'm gonna outline her lips first and then go back in and fill in the edges. Now I'm going to take a new liquid lipstick and just focus it in the center of her lips. I like to use lip brushes now because I feel like it makes the lip application so much easier. I still use disposables, but I really prefer lip brushes. So as you can see, I'm focusing in the center of her lips. Then I like to have my clients smack their lips, and I take whatever excess liquid lipstick is left on the brush and use it to blend into the liner. To finish off her lips, I'm going to be taking a clear gloss and just applying it on top of this combination. Once I'm finished with her lips, I'm going to be getting into the grand reveal, so I'm just going to let y'all watch.
Okay, you ready to see?
Yeah. Gimme.
Ooh, ooh. Stuck on her. If it's up and it's up, then it's up, then it's stuck.
So as y'all can see, this client tutorial was another success. She was feeling herself to the max, but what else is new? This is the video that I got on my phone. If you would like to see more clips from this look, feel free to go to my Instagram. My link will be in the description box. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next one. Bye bye.